And now...
What is this?
I know you're gonna dig this.
This is the Flatland Sports Podcast.
Where do you come from? Lubbock, Texas?
Lubbock, Texas.
A place called Lubbock.
I wonder if they think I'm so gorgeous back in Lubbock.
What do you care about Lubbock? You're big time now.
I'm just a little homesick, that's all.
Is that what you want, Larry, to spend the night in Lubbock, Texas at a day's inn with a $15 voucher from Cinnabon?
Lubbock? No, it's near Lubbock.
What's it like there?
It's flat, real flat. You stand on a coffee can, you can see Colorado.
How are you doing from across the Great Plains of West Texas? This is the Flatland Sports Podcast, free and available worldwide, exclusively on YouTube. We got some weather here in West Texas, got quite a bit of snow, and when we were done with the snow, it snowed again. Kids have been out of school for a week, just came back today. Wherever you are, however you are, I hope you're safe, I hope you're well. Texas Tech got a huge win at home against the number 6 Houston Cougars. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk Texas Tech Lady Raider basketball. And, of course, the 12-team playoff format change that remains the same for another year. We'll discuss what happened, what it means. We'll have the good, the bad, and the ugly, Big 12 power rankings, and much, much more. But first, this episode of the Flatland Sports Podcast is brought to you by Midwest Helmets, where owner Dallas Thompson turns football art into a full-on experience. If you've ever wanted a custom helmet of any team, any design, or a wild idea straight from your imagination, Dallas can make it happen. Want the classic double T like mine back here? He'll do it. Need a helmet to rep your fantasy football squad? He'll build that too. Whatever you're dreaming up, Dallas brings it to life with incredible attention to detail. These are one-of-a-kind pieces that will level up your office, man cave, studio, anywhere you rep your team. To order, just DM Midwest Helmets on Instagram or hit their Facebook page. Both are linked in the description. And when you mention Flatland Sports in your message, you'll get 10% off your custom build. Midwest Helmets, custom, bold, and built to stand out. And thank you so much for joining me today. If you're here right now, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Even if you think you're subscribed, just go ahead and double check. You might just be seeing me on your For You page, and that's that. It's free. It helps the show grow. Lots to get into today. So, after months of leaks, after the panic, after the breathless speculation, the college football playoff will remain at 12 teams for the 2026 season. And when you get this much noise and this little change, it tells you the fight was never really about fixing the system. It was always about who controls it. Now, there were some tweaks. The playoff will now include automatic bids for each Power 4 conference, Big 10, Big 12, SEC, ACC, plus one automatic bid for a Group of 5 team. Now, last season, it was simply the top 5 conference champions, regardless of affiliation. That's how you get Tulane and JMU in over the ACC champion Duke. But there is a key clarification here. According to Chris Vanini of The Athletic, the Group of 5 bid does not go to the highest-ranked Group of 5 conference champion. It just goes to the highest-ranked Group of 5 team, period. Now, that may sound minor. It's not. A highly ranked Group of 5 team could lose its conference championship game and still make the college football playoff under this new format. Meanwhile, a lower-ranked Group of 5 champion could win out on the field and still be left out despite winning all of their games. Despite beating the higher-ranked Group of 5 champion, they still won't get in. So it becomes about brand power in the Group of 5 ranks as well. That's a meaningful shift away from results and towards perception. And yes, this opens the door for UConn. Now, UConn is interesting here. UConn finished 9-4 last season and plays as an independent. Under this structure, UConn now has a theoretical pathway to the college football playoff without winning a conference. That I support. That is something that needed to happen. We talked about that in the last episode when we talked about Notre Dame's automatic qualifier that doesn't apply to the only other independent, UConn. And why would I do this? If I had to guess, this is about Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a special rule. You finish in the top 12, you automatically qualify for the college football playoff. Now, you're probably saying, well, yeah, no, duh, it's a 12-team playoff. You should go in if you're finishing in the top 12. Well, last year, BYU finished number 11 and got edged out by the other automatic qualifiers. So you're telling me now Notre Dame could come in at number 12 and edge out the 10th seed, which would have been Miami in this case, by the way. Now, that drew backlash because it applied only to Notre Dame and not the other independent UConn. It was preferential treatment for the Fighting Irish and not a broad rule that affected all independents, despite the fact that there's, of course, only two. This change helps justify that exception, but justification is not the same thing as good policy. Now, let's zoom out for a second. The reason the format didn't change more dramatically is because the two most powerful figures in college football are no longer aligned. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey and Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti are in open disagreement. Sankey wants 16 teams, either 5 plus 11 or just 16 with no automatic qualifiers, just straight committee-seated 16 teams. Petitti wants 24 teams with more structure and more automatic bids. So, two philosophies, basically the same goal. Sankey prefers flexibility because the selection committee has historically been favorable to the SEC. For the SEC, less structure means more interpretation, more eye tests, more benefit of the doubt. Now, Petitti wants the structure specifically to reduce the power of that committee, and that's not philosophical, it's strategic. Personally, I think 12 teams works. If you're asking me right now, and if I were the supreme college football dictator, and I have a lot of changes, but we'll stick with the playoff, I would run either a 16-team playoff with all 10 conference champions with 6 at-large, or better yet, I would just copy the FCS format and apply it to the FBS ranks. But since including all 10 champions is politically unrealistic, 5 plus 7 really just remains the sweet spot. What 5 plus 7 does right, it expands access without watering down the regular season, puts real emphasis on the conference races, and it already delivered something that college football hadn't seen in over 30 years. A brand new national champion in Indiana. Now, there's still one obvious fix left, and that's the calendar. We talked about that on the last show. The national championship should be played on New Year's Day, and you should make it do whatever you have to do to the season, do whatever you have to do to the playoff calendar. That's what needs to happen. That is the last day of the calendar year that college football is front and center. And every argument against that is logistical, it's not cultural. But how did we get here? Sankey and Petitti control the playoff because of an agreement signed in 2024. At the time, the Big Ten and SEC were aligned. They threatened to cut out the remaining 8 conferences unless they were granted that power. At the time, too, they also pushed for a 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 model, which meant double the automatic bids for the SEC and Big Ten than that of the Big 12 and ACC. Then, Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark did something that people called just absolutely reckless. Some of them just flat called him stupid. He refused to sign. He publicly rejected the format and pushed for 1 automatic bid per conference. He said it was better for the sport. People mocked him. They said the Big 12 will never get more than 1 college football playoff team in any way. Why would you not accept 2? They're giving you 2. You know you'll never get more than 1. And they missed the point completely. Yormark's stance did 2 things. First, it was a vote of confidence in the Big 12. You told your conference and you told the college football world, we're going to earn it. We're not going to let college football be bastardized for the sake of getting an extra college football playoff bid. We don't need your extra handout. If we deserve 2 teams in the playoff, we're going to earn 2 teams in the playoff. If we deserve 4 teams in the playoff, we're going to earn 4 teams. And if we only deserve 1, we're going to get 1 in. But second, and this is the most important part, it split Sankey and Petitti right down the middle. Sankey wanted more at-large bids. Petitti wanted more automatic qualifiers. Petitti wants reassurances that teams like Indiana would not get left out of the playoff, despite Kirk Herbstreit ranting about how they don't deserve to be there. And Sankey wants the opposite. Sankey wants a 9-3 SEC team to get the benefit of the doubt over an 11-1 Big 12 team. That disagreement completely halted their effort to marginalize the Big 12 and ACC. They turned their focus now on each other. So where things stand now, every format being discussed today is better for the Big 12 than it was in 2024. You have, as we said, a 16-team option, a 24-team option being thrown around. The 12-team option currently is significantly better than that 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 2 model. And even if you got say the Big Ten and SEC compromise and you get a 24-team model, that is straight seeding. There's still a committee. There's no automatic qualifiers. The Big 12 champion does not automatically get in. Well, at least at that point, the playoff field has been large enough to where it's been idiot-proofed. You can justify keeping BYU out of the playoff at number 11, despite the fact that they went 11-2 in conference play, but you can't necessarily justify keeping 11-2 BYU out of a 24-team field. And now, as we mentioned BYU, the Big 12 has teams like BYU and Texas Tech who are proving they can compete at the highest levels. You have teams that are proving that they can make college football playoffs. You have teams that are proving, like BYU and Texas Tech, that you can win recruiting battles against Ohio State, Michigan, and Texas. Texas Tech is not just a good Big 12 team. Texas Tech has proven to be a good team on the national level. Meanwhile, at the same time, the SEC is losing its grip on public perception. They've missed the national championship game 3 straight seasons, and this most recent season, they didn't win a single college football playoff game against another Power 4 opponent. Now, here's the real concern, though, that we need to circle back to. This new G5 rule is just one step closer to justifying the Group of Five's exclusion entirely. Because today it's going to be, why does the Group of Five champion have to make it? If there's a higher ranked Group of Five champion or just a higher ranked Group of Five team that maybe didn't win its championship game, well, they deserve to get in. Doesn't that make sense? That's more inclusive for the Group of Five. Tomorrow it's, why are we giving an automatic bid to a team that's ranked in the 20s just because of their conference affiliation? That's how access disappears. Not suddenly, but gradually, and Sankey knows this. And let's be clear about something else. Greg Sankey and ESPN do not have the best interests of the Group of Five in mind. There has already been real momentum towards separating the Power 4 and the Group of Five into entirely separate playoffs. A Power 4 playoff on one side, a Group of Five playoff on the other side, Group of 6 really when you include the Pac-12 now. That idea is overwhelmingly opposed by all Group of Five schools and fans. Not a single one of them wants that, because they understand what that actually represents. The Group of Five doesn't want their own championship. They don't want a consolation playoff. They want the same national championship race. And to borrow from Pink Floyd, they don't want to give up a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage. A standalone Group of Five playoff would be perceived as lesser than, the same way the FCS playoff is viewed as relative to the FBS title. Legitimacy matters, and you're telling basically every Group of Five fan at that point, hey, Group of Five, care less. We know you've been lifelong fans of Wyoming. We know you've been lifelong fans of Memphis. We know you've been lifelong fans of Boise State. Hell, Boise State has had some incredible moments in college football history. Care less now. You're not important. Playoffs started at 12. The logic behind it has shifted. And in college football, those shifts usually matter more than the number itself. Now, from the Big 12 side, of course, the Big 12 has put itself into position to really, really make some moves going forward. But you absolutely have to take advantage of this and win college football playoff games. When we come back, we'll talk Texas Tech basketball. This is the Flatland Sports Podcast presented by Midwest Helmets. The Red Raiders picked up a huge win at home against the number 6 Houston Cougars. Final score 90-86. It was the second top 10 win of the season and snapped number 6 Houston's 16-game road winning streak. JT Toppin recorded his 13th double-double of the season after going 31 points and 12 rebounds. Jalen Petty and Donovan Atwell combined for 9 three-pointers and finished with 18 points each. Head coach Grant McCaslin had this to say. What I was most thrilled about is that we didn't back down. It looked like they knocked us off center when they got the lead in the second half, and we looked tired. It looked like we were trying to figure out what was left in our tank to finish this one, but no. There was a lot of resilience in our timeouts. It was awesome. Texas Tech has now won 5 in a row, improved to 11-0 at home, and also ended Houston's 11-game winning streak. The Red Raiders now have 2 top 10 wins with this one, as well as a win over then number 3 Duke. And the best part is we get to enjoy it for an entire week, as Texas Tech will travel to Orlando to take on the UCF Knights in a critical Big 12 matchup. That game will be on at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. No spread as I record this. Both team enters with identical records. Texas Tech 16-4. UCF also 16-4. UCF has wins against Arizona State, Colorado, and Kansas State. They've beaten a lot of the lower half of the Big 12, not a lot of wins against the upper half of the Big 12. And like I said, no spread as I record this, but according to ESPN Analytics, Texas Tech enters as a favorite despite being on the road with a 63.5% chance to win. The numbers favor the Red Raiders, but this projects as a competitive road test for sure. So let's talk about season leaders. Scoring, Texas Tech, of course, JT Toppin averaging 22.1 points per game, 56.2% from the field. By far, one of the best shooters in college basketball today. UCF, R. Kugel, 15.0 points per game, 42.3% from the field. Edge, of course, goes to Texas Tech there. Rebounding, Texas Tech again, JT Toppin with 10.9 rebounds per game. UCF, Stillwell, 7.9 rebounds per game. Edge goes to Texas Tech. And on the defensive side of the ball, in assists, Texas Tech, Christian Anderson, 7.5 assists per game. UCF with T. Folks, 7.3 assists per game. Basically dead even there. When you compare the teams on paper, points per game, Texas Tech, 84.2 per game. UCF, 84.3. Points allowed, Texas Tech, 73.8. UCF, 77.0. Field goal percentage, Texas Tech, 47%. UCF, 48%. Rebounds per game, Texas Tech, 38.3%. UCF, 38.4%. Statistically, these teams are dead even. Texas Tech advantage shows up on the defensive side of the ball with the efforts of JT Toppin, Christian Anderson, Luwan Watts, but also guys like Leon Horner and Nolan Groves who stepped in earlier this season and just made a complete day and night shift in Texas Tech's defensive play. Now, recently, UCF in their last 5 games, they got a win over Arizona State, 79-76. A win at Colorado, 95-86. But then lost to Iowa State, 87-57. Lost to Arizona, 84-77. And then got a win again against Kansas State, 82-73. UCF represents basically the bottom of the best of the Big 12. They are getting wins over everyone below them. They're not winning against anyone above them as we sit today. Now, it should be noted, though, the bottom of the best of the Big 12 is pretty much equal to the top of most other conferences. UCF by no means is going to be an easy win. UCF is physical, athletic, and balanced. They can score, rebound, and play fast, especially at home. They're going to want to speed the game up, attack in the paint, turn possessions into transition points. It will be a classic physical Big 12 battle. Keys to win. First, play through JT Toppin. He's your best scorer, best rebounder on the floor. If Tech wins, it starts with him controlling the paint. Number 2, win defensive possessions. UCF scores efficiently, force tough shots, and keep them out of transition. And number 3, handle the road environment. It's going to be an early game. It's a hostile crowd. Protect the ball. Stay composed. Don't give them anything easy. UCF is a solid team, as all Big 12 teams are, but Texas Tech brings the best player on the floor, a better defense, and just a more favorable analytical edge. UCF will make this uncomfortable. They'll make it close. You'll probably scratch your head at this one by the end of it, but if Texas Tech stays disciplined and plays inside out through Toppin, they should leave Orlando with a win, and that's what I predict. Texas Tech will get this one 84-72. We'll talk Lady Raider basketball when we return. This is the Flatland Sports Podcast, presented by Midwest Helmets. The Lady Raiders took a trip to the Beehive State, got stung by BYU, and then just emptied a can of Raid on Utah. We'll start with the BYU Cougars. That was a 73-61 loss in Provo. It was a tough night at the Marriott Center as number 19 Texas Tech fell to BYU 73-61. Congratulations, BYU. You finally beat Texas Tech in a sport. Not a terrible game for Texas Tech. Snetta Collins led the way with 17 points. Bailey Maupin was held to just 11 points. Gimon Nunez was steady once again, scoring 8 points, a perfect 3 for 3 from the field, handing out 5 assists. Defensively, Jalen Bristow had a monster effort with a career-high 11 rebounds, 6 blocks, and 9 points. The difference came down to shooting. Texas Tech hit just 33% from the floor and 26% from 3, while BYU shot 47% overall and 44% from deep. As they say, there is no greater equalizer in basketball than hitting three-pointers. And sometimes there's just nothing you can do when a team gets hot from behind the arc. Now, moving on to 2 days later, the Red Raiders traveled to Salt Lake City and got a huge win against the Utah Utes, 77-49. Tech dominated Utah in Salt Lake City in one of the most complete performances of the season. Snudda Collins was unstoppable, a career-high 28 points, including 20 in the first half, and she went 6 of 7 from 3. Bailey Maupin added 15 points. Jada Malone chipped in 11. Gimon Nunez filled the box score with 9 rebounds and 5 assists. Defensively, Texas Tech was elite. Utah was held to 32.7% shooting, and one of the nation's best three-point teams started 0 through 12 from deep and finished just 3 for 16 from 3. Meanwhile, Tech shot 52% from the field and dished out 17 assists. Now, as I record this, the Iowa State game just ended. Texas Tech dropped that one. However, Bailey Maupin did surpass Cheryl Swoops in all-time career points here at Texas Tech. It was a cold night in Provo, a statement win in Salt Lake, and then another tough loss against Iowa State. When this team defends, moves the ball, and Snudda Collins gets cooking, the Lady Raiders can overwhelm anybody in the Big 12. They just need to... They were on a roll, and now they're stumbling a little bit. They just need to get comfortable again and get back into what they do best. They'll be back in action against TCU on Sunday. That is a 1 p.m. tip-off on Fox Sports 1. That will be at the United Supermarkets Arena. And those without ESPN Plus, like myself, you'll get a chance to watch one of the best Lady Raider teams since the Marsha Sharp era. Better yet, go watch in person. Go fill up that arena. They deserve it. Before the season ends, I want to see a capacity United Supermarkets Arena crowd for the Lady Raiders. When we return, we'll have the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is the Flatland Sports Podcast presented by Midwest Helmets.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
It's time now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll start with the good.
It's good. It's good.
Bailey Maupin has surpassed the great Cheryl Swoops in all-time scoring. She is now the 5th all-time career scorer in Lady Raider history. Congratulations, Bailey Maupin. Future women's basketball Texas Tech Ring of Honor inductee, in my opinion. And this team is, they're stumbling right now, but I know they'll get back on track, and I think they're poised to make a run in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations, Lady Raiders. Congratulations, Bailey Maupin. Let's do another good.
It's all good, man.
Texas Tech's men's basketball got a huge win over the number 6 ranked Houston Cougars. The second top 10 win of the season after number 3 Duke. Also, a handful of really, really good wins for the season. Now let's move on to the bad.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant. No!
Texas Tech moved up one spot in the AP poll from number 12 to number 11. I cannot stress this enough. I've been saying this for years. The Associated Press in every possible context is absolute garbage and needs to just be completely done away with. I like the poll, but let's get independent media involved in it. That's where the real news is being made nowadays, not these dinosaurs who still write for newspapers. Let's do an ugly.
Did he just talk to me like I'm ugly?
The clarification that the 5th AQ now goes to the highest ranked G6 team and not just the highest ranked conference champion. It's just a slippery slope. It really is. It's not going to be, as I said earlier, it may benefit in some ways. You may get a team that is just really on a run and maybe stumbles in the conference championship game. We know they're trying to get rid of conference championship games altogether, and they may need to with the playoff. I've got some thoughts on that as well. I'll maybe bring them up in the next show. And it is good to have a team like UConn actually have a pathway to the playoff now. But as I said before, this just opened. You tiptoed one step closer in the direction of just cutting out the group of 5 altogether. Because as I said, today it's, why should a group of 5 champion get in over a higher ranked group of 5 team? Tomorrow it's, why is this team who's ranked number 21 getting in just because they're affiliated to a group of 5 conference? It's a slippery slope. And you can say, well, if they're not ranked high enough, then why should they get in? Because rankings are biased and subjective, and frankly, we don't know what teams are good until they play on the field, and teams are playing less and less on the field now. The power conferences, particularly the Power 2, the Big Ten and SEC, they're getting to the point where they flat out refuse to play competition above the FCS level and below their own level. They don't want to schedule a team that would be from the Big 12, the SEC, or even the AAC. They don't want to schedule a team that could embarrass them. They want to schedule a team that either they know they can beat and beat soundly, or they want to schedule a team that won't be embarrassing if they lose to, such as an Ohio State. It's a slippery slope. I don't like it, but that's where we are now. When we return, we will have Big 12 basketball power rankings. This is the Flatland Sports Podcast presented by Midwest Helmets.
She's got, Captain. If I push it any harder, the whole thing will blow.
It's Division I football! It's the Big 12! It ain't intramurals!
Big 12 basketball power rankings. We're about, 2/3 of the way through the season as we sit today. So we will start at the bottom. Number 16, the Utah Utes. They joined the Big 12 bad at basketball. They're still bad at basketball. It doesn't look like it's getting better anytime soon. Currently sitting with a 1-6 record in conference play, 9-11 overall. Number 15, Kansas State. The Jerome Tang era at Kansas State is just burning to the ground. I am all for it. Sorry, Kansas State. You've been good for too long in too many sports. It's time for you to suck. Kansas State 1-7 in Big 12 play, 10-11 overall. Number 14, and here's the surprise of the season, Baylor. Baylor Bears under Scott Drew just absolutely falling on their faces right now. 1-7 in conference play, 11-9 overall. They might miss the tournament. At this point, the way they're trending, I don't think they're going to find their way in the tournament unless they just go on an absolute heater to end the season. At number 13, I have Colorado. Colorado 2-5, 12-8. They have a winning record. I think they're a little bit better of a team than their record gives them credit for. The problem is being a little bit better in the Big 12 means you probably finish in the bottom half of the Big 12 compared to, say, being a little bit better in the Big 10 or the ACC. They're improving. They may be better in years to come, but right now they're still in full rebuild mode. Number 12, Arizona State. I've got them, they are 2-6. They are 11-10, just hovering right at 500. A team that I thought was going to be improved this season. They don't really seem to be doing anything spectacular. Not the worst team in the Big 12, but far, far, far from being a top half Big 12 team. Number 11, the Oklahoma State Cowboys. They are slowly but surely trying to claw their way back into basketball relevancy, and I hope they do. They are 14-6 for the season, but 2-5 in Big 12 conference play. I'd love to see the Cowboys back at the top. Number 10, Cincinnati. Bearcats are 3-5 in conference play, 11-10, just hovering right at 500, just like Colorado is, just like Arizona State is. Excuse me. They're a good team. They're just not a great team, and they're not going to be able to find their way to get over the hump into the top half of the Big 12. At number 8, the TCU Horned Frogs. They are the best of the worst of the Big 12 at 3-5. They've got a 13-8 record right now. A team that can beat anybody on their schedule, but they're not going to beat everybody on their schedule, and that's the problem. Number 7, UCF. Now, as I said before, they are the bottom of the best of the Big 12. UCF is absolutely a good basketball team. 5-3 right now. 16-4 overall. And they're just not. They may be a team that finds their way into maybe a top 4 of the Big 12 kind of situation. We really need to see how they can compete against the upper half of Big 12 competition. Number 6, Kansas. Jayhawks are ranked number 14 right now. They are 5-2, 15-5. They are okay for a Kansas team. Terrible by Kansas standards. Another team from the state of Kansas that I just want to see crash and burn every year. Number 5, BYU. Kind of a shockingly low ranking for BYU in my opinion. They're ranked number 13 in the country right now. 5-2, 17-3. They got absolutely hosed, by the way, by officials against Arizona the other night. So this is how good the Big 12 is right now. BYU is sitting at number 5 in the power rankings. And the teams ahead of them, there's nobody ahead of BYU that I would say that BYU is better than right now. Which brings me to number 4, Iowa State, ranked number 8 in the country. They were in a little bit of a slump in past years. They are back in a big way. 5-2 in Big 12 play, 18-2 overall. Definitely a team to be reckoned with. Number 3, the Houston Cougars, ranked number 10 in the country. They are 6-1, 18-2. Well, why are they just number 3? Because they lost to Texas Tech last week, and that's all I care about. Number 2, Texas Tech. Stumbled out early on in the season. Figured some things out roster-wise and personnel-wise, and have just been on an absolute heater ever since then. They are 6-1 in conference play. The lone loss coming to Houston on the road. And by the way, the point differential in 2 games between Houston and Texas Tech right now, 0. Houston won by 4 points earlier at home. Texas Tech won by 4 points last Saturday at home. Just one of the best rivalries in college basketball today. And of course, number 1, the Arizona Wildcats, one of college football's last remaining undefeated teams, 21-0, 8-0 in the Big 12. Arizona, as they sit today, they are maybe my pick to win the national championship. Certainly a Final Four team and a future top 1 seed. Well, that's all I have for you. Please take a moment, like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on social media. That's Flatland_Sports on Twitter, X. Search Flatland Sports on TikTok and Facebook to find me. Special thanks to Midwest Helmets. This thing, absolutely beautiful. If you want one like it, or if you want your own, contact Midwest Helmets. I've got links in the description. He'll happily build you one. This has been the Flatland Sports Podcast. For Flatland Sports, I am Christopher Johnson. See you next time, and Wreck 'em Tech.